Welcome to the second edition of Making Copper Butterflies. But this second edition is more like making copper butterflies and more. In the butterfly video, I talk about how versatile the butterflies are. And I was thinking about how many ways I have used butterflies. And I remembered some of these plant pieces that I did. And these are so much fun to make because you're using bits and pieces of leftover material from other projects. And you kind of get these, some idea of what you want to do, and you start building these pieces. And none of them turn out to be the same. I mean, each one is an individual piece. And I do find that fun when I can, just start and try this, and oh, that's not quite right, move it or exchange it for another piece. So I think you'll enjoy not only making the butterflies, but this new section of making these butterfly, what we'll call butterfly plants.
My first step is to shear out some 3 1/2 inch copper strips. I use 16-ounce copper, which means that it weighs 16 ounces per square foot. Now for the antenna. I buy small spools of MIG welding wire. This wire is sold in thousands. In other words, it's 0.023 thousandths. For brazing, I use 3/32 flux covered brazing rod. Since I use all new material, I don't need this much flux. I scrape off most of the flux, but not all of it, because I do need some flux on the rod in order for the bronze to flow smoothly. Now I have all the parts for the plant butterflies. The butterfly copper blanks, the antennas, and the 1/16 inch plant sticks. When copper is cleaned up, meaning that it's bright and shiny, it can be flame colored, bringing out the blues, reds, and greens. For flame coloring, I use a very small flame, much smaller than I use to melt the butterflies or the flame I use for attaching the 1/16 inch rod and the antenna. The good news is that if I don't get exactly the color I want, I can wire brush the copper again and start over. There is almost an infinite variety of designs that one can do using these techniques. The first step is to make a pattern. Just for an example, I'll draw this one freehand. Now I'll transfer the pattern to a sheet of metal to make a permanent pattern.
Here's the result of the pattern I made. So you can see that all I have to do is come up with a pattern, make a permanent pattern, and then make a butterfly. It's as simple as that to have a new design. The technique is exactly the same as the other butterflies.